Hey, my friends, Mark Cunningham at Grace Property Management. So last week, I was out in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been invited to visit a property management group out there and speak to them. Thank you, PMs in Jacksonville, for hosting me out there. I had a wonderful time with you. And the topic that I spoke on, the title of my talk, was called Overcoming Owner-Client Objections. And so I opened up my talk with them by saying, guys, I must admit I've been a little bit misleading to you because I'm not here to talk about overcoming owner-client objections. Instead, I'm here to tell you that you need to stop overcoming owner-client objections. And I didn't want to put that in my title that I told you I was coming because I was afraid you wouldn't want me to come, but I'm here. You've already paid me. I'm already in your area, so it's just going to happen. Now, and I talked to them about this idea that I believe as property managers, the mentality and the philosophy we bring when we're talking to new prospective owner clients should not be one of overcoming owner-client objections. It should not be one of trying to close. When you come into a conversation with a new prospective owner client who's considering hiring you, the incorrect thing for you to do is to walk into that conversation with a closer's mentality, with I'm going to overcome their objections. I'm going to get them. And the reason is, I believe philosophically, you have to be very, very clear in your head on understanding the difference between a transaction mindset and a relationship. This is paramount to you being successful, and it's certainly been paramount for us being successful in the property management business. In almost every business there is, it is a transaction by nature. If you do sales, it is called a sales transaction. If you sell clickers or pens or bottles of water or accounting services, anything, that is definitionally a transaction. It has a start date, you perform a service, it has an end date, you get paid. When you do a real estate sale, you sign a listing contract, you perform the duties, you get the property closed, you get your commission check, they get their keys, you wave goodbye, and you're all done. Everything in the business world, virtually, is a transaction. Now, is that true for property management when you're working with owner clients? What is the end date of your property management transaction with your owner? There is none. It's whenever they either decide to sell the house, they fire you, you fire them, something happens, something triggers. An event way, way off into the future could trigger that. A few months ago, we sold a property for an owner client that we had managed for over 35 years. My friends, that is not a transaction, that is a relationship. And you need to consider when you're thinking about working with an owner client, if you want to be in a business relationship with them, you're not there to close, you're there to be in a potential business relationship. So let me give you some ideas to see which way you naturally think. If you're using terms like this, hey, what's your pitch? What is your pitch to these owners? Do you have a pitch deck? I got to close. That's the mentality, and those are terms that you're using if you're in that transactional mindset. And these aren't wrong, but this has been incorrectly adopted, I believe, by the PM industry when we see all these other industries and they talk about their pitch and their close and their sales techniques, helping prospective clients understand why they should choose us, overcoming their objections. This is just a framework, it's a philosophy that I think is a little bit off. Instead, if you're going to have a relationship mindset, then you're going to be thinking this way and you're going to be utilizing these types of terms. Are we a good fit for each other? Fit is about relationships. It's not about transactions. If I'm a good fit for them and the owner clients are a good fit for me, we're here to educate them on the front end. You don't educate someone when you're trying to close them, do you? But I'm not trying to close anybody. I'm not trying to sell to anybody. I'm there to educate them. Now, we may partner with them. And I believe the way we should be looking at this, instead of overcoming objections, we should be setting expectations. That is the bottom line basis. If you start there, that, hey, I'm not here to sell you, I'm not here to convince you, I'm not even here to overcome your objections. I'm here to educate you, determine if we'd be a good fit, and should we partner together, and set expectations on what it will look like if we enter into a property management relationship. Do you see how it changes a little bit? So let me offer you a couple suggestions on very tactical things you can do to help set expectations. But before I do that, I want to thank the newest sponsor we have here at PM Build, Leadsimple. Now, Leadsimple is not just the #1 CRM in the property management industry, meaning when owner-client leads come in, you put them into your Leadsimple account, and that can automate responses, help you track that to make sure that you're bringing more folks in. I almost said to make sure you're closing more owner clients, but we're striking that word, aren't we? But they can help us communicate and educate owner clients that way. Not only that, though, they can help you manage, they can help you streamline, and they can help you automate your processes. This is a very complex business we're doing. Leadsimple has figured out the way to help us as property managers automate so much of this. Jump on their website, leadsimple.com, find out what they do, find out how they can help you, get a demo, tell them I sent you out there. I'm going to be speaking at their Leadsimple event later this year. I think it's a secret, so I probably wasn't supposed to tell you that, but I'm excited for that. Maybe I'll see some of you out there, but check them out. Thank you to Leadsimple. Find out how they can help you automate, streamline your processes. Okay, so let me quickly share with you a couple ways that I think you can set expectations better on the front end. Because if you set proper expectations, the likelihood of that relationship being a smooth, prosperous relationship for everybody works well. You've got to do it on the front end. You can't set expectations after you've been working with a client for a long period of time. You've got to set them on the front end. So one way that we found is very effective to do that is by utilizing our website. Now, certainly we're going to have conversations with these potential owner clients, but when they get granular in questions, we want to point them back to our website. So 4 pages I think are essential for you to have on your property management website. #1, you need to have a pricing page. Tell people what you charge. Be clear, be transparent, be very, very obvious on this is the fee structure we have in place. Why? I'm setting expectations. I'm not there to convince you. I'm not there to hide anything. We want to be clear and transparent in our pricing. Second, have a rent-ready standards page on your website. I suspect that you've had some owner clients, like I have, where you walk through their property and they say to you, hey, it's rent-ready. And you walk through and you're like, this thing is not rent-ready at all. And they say it's good enough, rent it as is. And what do you say to that? You're like, well, I mean, I guess legally it's good enough, but you know, this carpet is just bad and the paint is terrible and you've got to have 4 burners working on the stove, not just 2. Put it on your website. Now you can say to them, let me send you a link, a page from our site that will give you a full breakdown of what our rent-ready expectations and standards are. It just helps you give that information, helps you educate them. Third, have a page on your website that explains what your app screening process is. So when they say, how do you process applications? How do you approve or decline applications? Oh, great question, Mr. Owner Client. Let me send you a page from our website that'll give you a full breakdown of our detailed step-by-step applicant screening process. Put it on the website. That can become your go-to. And so also when you get stuck, you can reference back to that to say, oh, well, gosh, is it a 7-point process or is it a 9-point process? Get detailed and granular on that on your website. And #4, make sure you have a page on your website that explains the difference between wear and tear and damage, so that when the owner client says, on the security deposit you're doing here, you're going to charge them for those holes in the wall, right? And you look at the wall and you're like, I don't see any holes in the wall. Oh, you mean that tack hole where they hung a clock and they put a little tack in there? No, I'm not going to charge them for that. Yes, you are. I want you to charge them for that. Have a page on your website that explains to the owner client legally and professionally the difference between wear and tear and damage, what gets charged to a tenant's deposit, and what does not. So that in a 8.5-minute conversation is what I talked about for an hour to this group in Orlando, Florida. If you buy into this mentality, the philosophy of we are entering into a relationship, not a transaction, it will change the way you communicate. It'll change you from coming from a place of desperation, of, oh, please choose me with your owner clients, to setting you up as an educator, setting you up as a trusted advisor. Hey, my friends, how else can we help? Have you checked out our new podcast, pmbuild.com? Have you joined our new Facebook group, PM Build? Visit our website, pmbuild.com. Until next time, and as always, my friends, I wish you success.